All right, Red Riders, we are back, and tonight's going to be a fun one. As you all probably heard 1 billion times, this is the snow stream. Bones, I want to give you one guess. We're creative around here. Why are we calling this our snow stream?
We got some white stuff outside. It was a nice little day. Other people are calling it Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon. How many inches do you think we have so far? Like, realistically, is it like 8, 10?
I think 8's a good call.
Yeah. All right, so somewhere around 8.
The last official thing was like 7.6.
Oh, there you go. The reverse 6-7 there, Bones.
Wow.
But guys, so we are going to do something that we've been asked for a long time now. We've kind of pushed it off. We figured, why not now during this whole blizzard thing? That's the Philly neighborhoods thing, right? So we're going to start off this show. We went through a very, very thorough process of ranking the most Philly neighborhoods, the OG Philly. We'll talk about all the things we considered. We'll get into that. But Red Riders, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Do us a favor. Please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. You know it helps. We are sniffing down 1,500 subscribers. We're right there. So help us get there, please. The other thing I wanted to just quickly start off with and say, I was asked recently, guys, like, how would you describe the Red Corner? How are you guys different? What are you about? Well, first and foremost, we're obviously a Phillies podcast, right? Today's going to be a little bit different here because we're starting off with some more Philly fun stuff. But we are the largest independent Philadelphia Phillies podcast. Check our feed out. We go every week. We go all year long. And there's no media, no radio station, no private equity firm tied to us. You're looking at the three owners, Slim, Bones, and Devo. We own the Red Corner LLC. Boys, we're stuck with each other because none of us can fire the other one.
Yeah, we can't. It would be ugly. It would get ugly fast.
Yes. So we're still one way or the other. We're stuck with each other. But how are we doing? What should we? I want to hear your shoveling strategy, Slim. Let me hear it.
All right. So I was expecting more than 8 inches, to be frank with you, and then we got the little bit of ice. But this is the truth. You have to go out there and do an initial shovel, right? As soon as you wake up, you should be shoveling within the first. I'll give you 2 hours. All right. I don't care where it's at. If it's landing, do the first 2 hours. Get out there, get it off. And then you got to wait and you got to go back out. The reason for that is if you let it pile up the snow and then the ice gets on top, you're going to be doomed. Okay. You're going to be crunching ice instead of just removing soft snow and then just putting down a little bit more rock salt. So that's my strategy. Anyone else that does it the other way, I think you're really, really just not doing it right. So where am I wrong? So I'm talking about a residential row home city blocks.
That's fair.
Right? I knock out about and this is the truth. And I'm not the man that there used to be a woman on my block. She doesn't live here anymore. She's an OG. She used to do the entire block multiple times a day and no one even had to worry about it. She was out there in the snow all day long. Absolutely. Now she's gone and I do about 4 houses tops. Right. And then I even got lucky. Right. I didn't post it. My neighbors also went out and they started doing it. Right.
Okay.
So what happens is if you go out there and you do that first 8 a.m., get that 8 a.m. shovel in, you then inspire your neighbors to come out and do it, which is I learned a long time ago the move. Okay. So that's also, there's a lot of avenues here.
So this is a funny topic, and you just kind of gave me a layup. Mm-hmm. So the thought process, I want to hear both of your answers here. Where do you stop? So you just said I do 4 houses. What's your strategy on? Are we stopping because it's a younger guy that lives there? Or are you stopping because it's a neighbor you don't really like?
Right.
So what's your strategy there? I'll start with you on that one, Bones.
So for a while, I was doing my neighbors right next to me. And when I came out one day, hers was done. Didn't reciprocate. So
wow.
We share an alley. So
not a Red Rider
down the alley.
Yeah.
The alley path, and that's it.
Wow. So you're putting a ruler out there and going. You're not going an inch further.
And I go out there today, and I'm old school, so I was always told to shovel the gas thing make sure you can find that in case something happens. The water
Cap.
plate. Yep.
Yeah.
Make sure you can see that. I go out there. She cleans her car off. She buries my water thing. So I went out there earlier. I just drew the square, threw some salt on there. But yeah, it's just snow wars. I do myself, and then I got like a garage next to me that they don't really maintain, the people that own the apartment, and they just throw their shit. They let that freeze. That will sit there all week without getting shoveled.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. I just do my two direct neighbors and a friend a few houses down.
Okay. All right. So it's more of like a you scratch my back, I scratch your back strategy. And I think that's fair, right? Also, I think the biggest thing is neighbors rotate too, right? A lot of times neighbors would rotate these duties.
Now, it's similar to, I don't know if, I'm not sure, Devo, if you had one back in the day in the neighborhood or maybe Bones, but I share an alley. So it's similar to the trash can recycling thing, you know. First person in, might as well just grab both of them, bring them in, you know, put yours on your side, the other one on the other side. So that's almost the two only neighborly things I'm always in on.
100%. And the other thing is these different shoveling strategies and you know, what you do with the chairs and whatnot varies based off neighborhood.
Yeah, so, I couldn't even imagine.
So should we kind of get into our neighborhood rankings? Anything else you want to get off your chest snow-wise?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right, so here you have it, folks. So we're going to go 5 through 1, and this is the most Philly neighborhoods, right? So, Slim, I really like the way that you described like what we were considering and what we considered most Philly. So why don't you take the floor here and just talk through that?
So we were considering what's the most authentic. And then when you get down to the brass bones of it, we're talking about what places are multi-generational and what places would you take someone on a ride along to, right? What are signature Philadelphia spots? And this 5 list you see right here absolutely nails it, right? So let's jump into it. Right.
Well, jump into it. Yeah, no. So like Slim said, so multi-generational, right? Areas that if you have an out-of-towner coming to spend a day with you, what are some areas you say, this is real Philly? And you kind of bring in the culture of those different areas. Now, we'll just raise our hand here, right? All 3 of us, we're from the Kensington section of Philadelphia. That's our bias, but we didn't heavy that in at all. So let's put that out there. Number 2, we understand everybody's list will be different, right? You're talking to 10 different people from Philly. They're going to have a different list. We kind of took the 10,000-foot view here, and we wanted to really kind of capture OG Philly. So some of the things that we eliminated right away was the more touristy areas, right? Like Center City, Old City, and as you kind of bleed out. So the more touristy areas, that's not OG Philly, right? We're talking about Philly's a city of neighborhoods, so we wanted to capture the best neighborhoods. So let's just kind of eliminate that. So I'm going to start at the bottom. Fairmount and Brewerytown areas. And you'll see here as we're going through these lists, if it's a neighborhood that's kind of next to another one, we added them together because they share a lot of the same stuff. So, Slim, I know you and I have grabbed a few beers in Fairmount over the years. They have some great pubs. Fairmount's a nice OG area. Good sports town. They love their sports. Brewerytown, same thing, man.
Yeah, I have family going back to Fairmount. My grandmother was from Fairmount.
Right.
So, and a lot of people who had family, if they don't live in Fairmount now, they've absolutely stretched out into other parts of the city, right? And Fairmount is where the art museum is at. It's where a lot of people with the parades, right? If we end up winning, that's where people are gathering for these big championships. So yeah, Fairmount without a doubt. And now Brewerytown is another one of these areas, which is out of nowhere an awesome spot to go hang out. It's not too far up. I never, as in my 20s did I go up off Girard Avenue. But if you stay closer to Girard and go west, Brewery Town is an awesome spot as well.
It is, and I remember back when we were playing ball together, boys. We had that up in Girard College, right? Remember those tournaments we'd play up there? That's with a ballpark in the Brewery Town area.
Yeah, remember we did when Slim and Bones first jumped in the media cycle. We did a little game with the Philly media. Remember that at Girard College?
I do remember
that.
Those were some good runs. I remember nailing some free throws there. Routine. That's what I remember. I lined up, bam, hit a free throw as we were picking teams. First one drilled it. The guy behind me, who was an awesome player, can't remember who it was though. He was like, that was routine, and absolutely, I would say I shoot about 70%.
What do you think, Bones? 70% from the free throw? Him? You buying that?
No.
Absolutely.
No.
All right, let's move along here. So number 4, Germantown.
At 10 free throws, yes.
All right. Well, listen, we have cameras. We'll do some content here. We'll do some.
I got the best audio and quality on the show, so absolutely.
Yes, you do. All right. So Germantown coming at number 4. So Germantown, that's an OG Philly area. That's up near East Falls, a little northwest, whatever you want to call it. You got LaSalle University within a stone's throw. So Germantown, guys, do me a favor. I know we've all been there, but the houses in Germantown, that's like old. You can see that was where old rich Philly was, and obviously a lot has changed over the years. Beautiful homes there, and that is an OG Philly spot. A lot of people submitted Germantown. We considered it, and it came in at number 4.
Yeah, and that's really our North Philly representative here.
Right. No doubt. All right, so this was another common one that we were hearing a lot from people, and this was on our list to begin with. There wasn't going to be a way that a West Philly neighborhood wasn't on there. So the 2 most Philly neighborhoods that we kind of wanted to bundle in West Philly were Overbrook and Cobbs Creek. We have a tie to Overbrook, Slim Bones. Remember we went to Camp Overbrook over the years?
Oh yeah, I said a boom chugga boom, all those songs, all those dances getting broken up in groups. And back in the day, going to Camp Overbrook, it was cheese bus after cheese bus after cheese bus of kids. I don't even remember. It was just a ton of kids
all over.
Yeah, and when you jumped off that bus, the best thing was not everyone you didn't stay in the same group, so you were with a whole bunch of, and you just had to survive that week of camp.
Will Chamberlain's neck of the woods.
Yeah, Will Chamberlain.
Yep.
That's the biggie because Will Chamberlain is as Philadelphia as it gets.
Oh, 100%. And
he's Mount Rushmore.
He's the Mount Rushmore. And you remember another tie-in. Remember back when we were, I don't know if we were like 17 or 18.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to visit St. Joe's University. Remember
absolutely.
Remember we were walking through Overbrook. And we got through to near St. Joe's, and it was a weird feeling because growing up we heard all over the years about Wilt Chamberlain, Overbrook, and Overbrook felt like it was a million miles away to us.
Yeah, I think we accidentally jump off at I know we had to maybe get off at Henry Avenue somewhere, and then as soon as the bus got to Henry Avenue, we jumped off and we had to walk like a mile and a half.
Yes, yeah, we made a wrong turn, no doubt. But go ahead.
With Cobbs Creek, they got the new thing. They redid the course out there, Cobbs Creek Golf Course. The whole PGA. Tiger Woods was out there a couple months ago when the tournament was out. Yes.
Yeah.
I forget where the tournament was a couple months ago, but they were talking about with Marion coming up here or Aronimink, wherever the PGA is this year.
Right.
They were there to break ground because they're trying to make that pro playable again. That's one of the longest holes in golf back in the day on the black course.
Good shout out there. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Thank you for that information. That's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to dive into that. That would be so sick.
Yeah, and then over Brooklyn, you mentioned it, but just some of the best ballers in the city. You know, a lot of great basketball comes from there. Again, real OG spot. So everyone who submitted Overbrook, thank you for that. We weren't going to have a list without including that. So, chat, we see you. Keep it coming. We'll get to you after we get through our list. But now, boys, let's move into familiar territory. So we decided to kind of bundle in, like I said earlier, kind of surrounding neighborhoods when we were considering this, right? So what we did was for the number 2 of OG most Philly neighborhoods, we're doing the Fishtown, Port Richmond, and the sections of Kensington surrounding area. So us three, we're from a sub we call it Flatiron, which is a subsection of the Sion / St. Anne's Parish, as we would call it. But take it away, boys.
Yeah, so we're in the Fishtown area. Obviously, is awesome. It's super walkable. You really don't have to leave. And frankly, I had to say this with Fishtown, Port Richmond, and Kensington. If we sound like we're ignorant, we may be, because we didn't have to go nowhere else, right? Only where I had to go. The big thing back in the day was we had to go to the movie theater, and we had to go down to one other neighborhood, which we'll get to later. But besides that, we had everything we need. And now it's even better, for the most part. I'm not going to say it's even better, but there's a lot of awesome stuff happening.
100%. And then, Bones, I'll let you jump in here after this. But I wanted to say this because obviously you started this, Slim, with saying that multi-generational neighborhoods that kind of have still kept a lot of their same character, right? Because make no mistake, every single neighborhood that you see here has been hit with everybody's famous G buzzword in gentrification nowadays, right? All 5 of these surrounding areas have been hit with that. So you can't escape that. But the neighborhoods that you see have really maintained the fabric of the OG multi-generation Philly thing. And the one thing I wanted to touch on, because this is something that you hear a lot about in Fishtown, Kensington, and Port Richmond, and anyone who's listening, people love to say, particularly a lot of the newcomers, and we always got along with all walks of life, right? If you're a new person to the neighborhood, we'll have a beer with you. We've had a lot of good times with them. But one of the things that people love to say was, oh, you couldn't even walk around here 10, 15 years ago. And that's just not true. Like, that's stuff that you hear all the time, people saying at the bar. We would cringe when we would hear that. I just saw someone say that the other day. And honestly, they don't mean any disrespect. They're just ignorant.
Right. And honestly, like I said, these neighborhoods have been gentrifying for 25, 30 years at this point. I think it's just a beaten horse.
Right.
I'm a guy. The funniest thing is, man, the roundabout at York Street, right?
Yeah.
I used to be someone who used to love coming down the cobblestone of Trenton Avenue, knowing that there's only one little wonky light on the other side of Frankfort Avenue. It's like a 5-way intersection. And then you could go left, right, straight, but a lot of other people would have more courtesy, and it would like bottleneck in certain places and get ugly. And now with this roundabout, which was so goofy sounding, it's the best thing I've ever seen. Right? It's the best thing I've ever seen. So yeah, just all kudos to that.
So like growing up, we always, the neighborhoods always had the tournaments, right?
Yeah.
And Fishtown had the Freddie Adams tournament. Our neighborhood had the Peg McCook. Port Richmond had the Sean Daly. So it all streamed from CYO basketball. So we would play guys in CYO basketball. The rivalry will continue in these tournaments. And then even when there wasn't a tournament, we're going up to A&W playing these dudes in basketball just to see who had the better squad that day. And now, 20 years later, we see the guys out in the bars and we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the best parts about these neighborhoods. And it kind of sucks. And one of the reasons I think it's number 2 is because there's not many of these bars around here no more.
Right.
Where there's, one bar around here where everybody can go to up in Port Richmond at Bobby T's. And then other than that, there used to be ones in Fishtown, ones in Kensington where you can go to. Not everybody can go to them all the time.
Well, Bose,
they're not there.
What do you think? Look, we're talking multi-generational, and obviously bars and all these cultures are a huge thing. Drinking's been big forever, right? Prohibition told us that, but now the younger generation really isn't drinking as much. And the big reason they're saying was back in the day, people had to get the heck out their houses, and then once you're out, you need some kind of social lubricant. So a couple beers got loosen you up. You're able to talk, yada yada yada. But now with cell phones, kids aren't even out playing with their cell phones. They don't go out. Because I was talking about this with other people. It's not what drinking is a vice that seems like it's dying out, probably for the better, I would say. So it is going to have an interesting impact on the economy of these neighborhoods.
Yeah,
in another 10 years, we'll be here.
Yeah,
we'll be here. Bones' time will be here. We'll see.
Yeah, no doubt. And honestly, what we saw happen, and I'm really glad you said that, because the neighborhood feel, the local school parish pride was something that we really were one of the last generations to really get to fully grasp that. So great call out there. And you're right. And Bones, you really teed me up here. That's why it was really hard for us. And yes, guys, this is a Phillies podcast, so we're going to get to the Phillies topics, but we were asked to do this, so we're doing it. But like I was just saying, it was hard for us to admit that South Philly is number one in this arena. But we put our heads together, and to Bones' point, I really do think that South Philly has not moved out. A lot of the people have stayed there, right? And those tight-knit communities, now they're not as tight-knit as they used to be, but they're still pretty darn strong. And a lot of those local neighborhoods still have the businesses and all the stuff that kept it together. So that's kind of where we landed at South Philly, number one.
Yeah, and all the neighborhoods, the Italian Market, East Passyunk, Pennsport. There's three more. You have Grays Ferry, Packer Park, right?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we didn't have to leave the neighborhood back in the day. We would leave to go down the South Street on days off and in the summertime, and we would leave and take the old 25 bus down to the old Whitman neighborhood, right at Snyder. So I guess that's where that's a border, right? We go right there at the border. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bones, and we would go to the movies, right? That was like an all day thing. Or if we had an all day, we would walk up and back.
Yeah,
we want to go see Invincible down there.
Right.
Evan's dad drove us.
Yeah,
and we seen Vince Papali in there.
And then the truth is, if you want to expand it, we would have to leave the neighborhood for that. And then we would have to go down Lehigh Avenue to play basketball, and then sometimes take Lehigh all the way down to Germantown and play up and down North Philly and into Elkins Park. That was basically – and then there's one – keep talking about, but there is one we have to get to, an honorable mention. That links back up to sports. At sports 100%. And how we basically were raised.
There was a lot of honorable mentions that we were. You said Whitman. We had Bridesburg that got submitted. Some Northeast Philly talk. Some Manayunk. Some Roxborough talk. So Slim, that little bunch that I just named. Give your reason why we didn't necessarily crack the top five with those, and then let Bones weigh in too.
This is the truth. A lot of people. They wanted to submit the entire Northeast all at once. And then I was thinking about it with Mayfair. Mayfair has some signature stuff, Chicky and Pete's, right? I was thinking about the old school parishes with St. Matt's, Lincoln High School, right? Mm-hmm. Some heavy hitting stuff going on up in Mayfair. But then I got Mayfair people messaging me saying that Bridesburg is better than Mayfair. and then they're asking me, is Bridesburg a part of the Northeast? So after that, things got real cloudy, and I just had to exit. And the reason, it's funny, but this is true, and it goes back to that walkability and then accessibility. The Northeast, you guys are further with the 95 stuff, so that kind of isolates you. And then that's why these Mayfair people are in my mentions saying you got to choose Bridesburg because they love the 95 ramp right there.
I don't think Bridesburg considered Northeast. That if you go down Aramingo or if you go up Aramingo Ave, and you get to
sarcasm
like Bridge Street, that's where it says welcome. Past there is welcome to Northeast Philly, right?
Right. Yeah, no, the Northeast Philly kind of when it starts, when it ends, that's always an ongoing debate. I always personally thought like I don't know, like Frankfurt, right? Is Frankfurt where it starts? That little
Yeah.
pocket? Yeah.
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 I don't like explaining my jokes, but yeah, to undercut Mayfair, you can say Bridesburg, right? Because it's literally lower than Lower Mayfair. It's not even the Northeast, and it doesn't have chicken and Pete's.
Yeah, and then also, listen, we have a lot of some of our best friends that we know are Northeast people, right? So like we have friends from all over the city of Philadelphia. So what we're about to say is not like a snobby thing, but if you're from some of the internal surrounding neighborhoods of the city of Philadelphia, which we are, there's a few areas of the city where people don't necessarily give them as much love. And let's just talk about them right now. Obviously, we're talking the Roxboroughs, the Manayunks, the Chestnut Hills, the Northeast Phillies, etc. Right? Like they're kind of on the outside. And honestly, they probably are on the outside because they want to be there, right? They want to be as far away from the action as possible. So if you choose that, we have to consider that in our ranking.
Yeah, and it's a shame because again, when you try to once you pick your little niche area, and then on a Saturday, if you try to venture out up to Chestnut Hill, go out to a market there on a spring day, you better get up early, because then you are driving down that Germantown Avenue again,
Right.
and then it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
And lastly, the food is absolutely ridiculous in South Philly, right? Like that's one thing that the Fish Town, Port Richmond, and by the way, we should have brought this up earlier. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Bones' last name, but it's like 27 letters and it ends in ski. So I'll let you guess on where his family hails from. But the Polish food is phenomenal in Port Richmond. Bones,
Right.
Bones, give a shout out to your the spot that you hit up, please.
Chev's Kibasi. It's
Yes.
the best in Port Richmond, hands down.
Right, exactly. So the Port Richmond area has always had a really strong Polish cuisine, but South Philly really had a leg up on us in food forever. Now, fast forward to today, probably not. It's close as ever with all the restaurants in Fishtown, right, guys?
It is, but I'm a baby. The way I grew up, I got to venture more into the Fishtown scene. That's one of the things, me and my wife, we go back and forth. She wants to try this. She wants to try that. And God forbid I spend the money and then I don't like the return on the portions or I'm trying something. I'm just at the age where trying things I'm unsure of. I get real iffy with some spots, but I gotta get out my shell. And that's going to be something I do in 2026. I'm going to try some more of these exotic places.
Yeah, dude, like Ralph's.
Yeah, you're definitely not.
Stogie Joe's in East Passyunk.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Villa de Roma down there by the Italian market
is incredible.
And then like the bars down there, just along the 2nd Street area, Jones, Mifflin Tavern.
Yes.
Spots that Slim hit up for the his rankings last year.
My two favorites are Scarnuccio's. They got a double grilled pork chop with balsamic and fig. That is fantastic. And they also, that's all I have to say about Scarnuccio's. They got a great go check that pork chop out. It's one of the best.
That's right on Broad Street, right?
Yes,
that place is incredible. I've been there before. And then Saloon, you got to throw Saloon out there. Saloon's incredible. Sure. You're Bones. You're right. I think the step above, like the bars in our neighborhood, you'd be lucky if you got a friggin' pork roll sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Growing up. But the South Philly old school bars always had the level up in food, and that has continued. Like it really has.
And they just took a step up recently with Kelly Ann's. They're going to be opening up in a couple weeks officially with their kitchen and all.
Right
there at 2nd and Snyder.
Yeah, no, that's going to be awesome. Right, that's right around the corner from you,
across the street.
Yeah. All right, so chat here. We'll jump to the chat here. And by the way, guys, this is the official list. So thank you for your submissions. We weighed in all the, all your considerations, but we made the final call here. This is your definitive OG most Philly list. Here you have it. All right, let's get to the chat here. So Jacob Wilkins saying that they have about a foot of snow where he's at. Oh, man, God bless you, brother. And then C Daddy, one of our favorites.
So I seen that comment. And I cracked up. I don't know if he was making a joke or what.
Of course. That's why I was very selective with how I presented that information. So C Daddy, what do you when oh, holy cow here, C Daddy. I'm struggling with this one.
Oh man.
What do you when for you always do your neighbor's payment, and do they rarely never Is that ChatGPT?
Nah, let me try to read this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you when for yours you always do your neighbor's payment, and they rarely or never do yours? All right, so I think he's trying to get at that he always does his neighbor's payments and they never do his payments, So we were talking about this on top of the show. Bones has there is an I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I hope to get out there early, get the first couple houses done, get the first coating off, inspire my neighbors to come out. But if they never return the favor, I would definitely be a little bit upset, but I think I would still have to do it.
Yeah, especially when, if it's an older person, for example, and where we grew up, it takes 5 minutes tops to do a payment, right?
What if they're a young guy, 35 years old, going out, hitting the weekends, coming back, and you just know they're in there sleeping?
Yeah. That's definitely in the back of your mind. Let's be real. We're human. Yeah. I would say I've always had a hard time. Go ahead, Bones.
My neighbor has a friend that stays there with her, so I know there's somebody that can do it. That's one of the reasons why I don't do it. But
there you go.
You don't want to do mine. I did hers plenty of time.
What about today?
One time, that's it. That's all I need at one time, and that's it.
Today was truly odd because we only got 8. We got 8 inches of snow, 12 inches, whatever we end up getting. And usually you would see more people trekking around in it. You didn't see nobody trekking around, So for the people that don't shovel early, that kind of gave you a little bit of an argument today because there really was not much foot traffic today whatsoever. Because, Bones, I would say to you, who cares about them sleeping? You're up early. You're a go-getter. You're out there. Bang those little – our blocks are easy. Just bang it out. Feel good about it. Hopefully you do it for the person who's walking down the street, not for your neighbor who's sleeping on their couch. Right? But with that being said, nobody was even out today.
Yeah. No. I think a lot of that was just due to the fact that there was such an advance warning of this blizzard, right? And not most, I shouldn't say most, but a good portion of people are off tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people were trying to time it before the ice came.
Yes.
So they would get out there like I did it, and I think I did a little too prior to where I had to go out there and do it again, and then eventually a third time.
You did it 3 times.
Yeah, now it's clear where I threw the salt down and all. It's clear now. Nothing's out there.
Man,
and I moved both cars a little bit just to be able to get my way out because she's got to go to work tomorrow.
Are you off tomorrow?
I am off tomorrow.
Nice. I know you
are. Hour of the Teamsters.
There you go.
I'm not. I'm on.
Paid for A2, baby.
What are you doing? Stream?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna be online and make sure everyone's doing their stuff.
Okay, so you're doing the online teaching,
right?
Okay. All right, so we just gave you guys 34 minutes on snow and neighborhood rankings. So let's transition here to Phillies. Mark, I see you in the chat. Shout out to he's saying his old friend James Joseph Quinn. Shout out. Is that Quinny? That's Quinny, right?
His dad, Frog.
Oh, that's Frog. Okay, yeah. So shout out to that guy.
Mark, my neighbor.
No, that's Mark Adams' brother, Mark.
Oh, okay. I don't got the chat up.
No, good. We don't want you distracted. All right, so guys, so now that we got our neighborhood rankings out of the way, everyone knows where we stand. I'm sure we're going to be getting, a lot of hate in our DMs, but that's fine, and a lot of love. So, let's go back to Phillies land here. So the things that are really going on right now is the Phillies have their 40-man full, right? We have our 27 non-roster invitees to the spring training. We are nailing down the fact that we're less than 30 days away from pitchers and catchers spring trainings around the corner. So the main kind of talking points right now are the Phillies going to add some help in the outfield? Are they going to bring in an extra bat? Or are they going to add some extra pitching arms? So I'm just going to put that out there, and we'll kind of just go from there. Bones, where are you at on all this?
So they get rid of Weston Wilson, right?
Yep.
And that leaves he was both infielder and the outfielder, so utility role. So if they were able to bring back a Harrison Bader on like a 1-year deal, which is possible, that guy's been living off 1-year deals for basically his whole career.
Yeah.
Be all for that. Wouldn't it be for giving him the 3-year deal or whatever deal that we're giving out JT, adding these extra years? That would be a nugget I would go for because he throws at leadership in it. Like the team, once he came over, that was a big leader that they had on the roster, and he was a gamer. He got hurt in the playoffs, and I think he was a big factor of them missing or losing that series to the Dodgers. He got hurt, and it really set them behind. But him being in center field, Crawford going to left, slide him over to left. I think that would be ideal for the team, and they could possibly move another one of these outfielders for another bullpen arm. As Chris is always talking about the 6-man rotation.
Yep.
Bullpen arms, you never know where you're going to get. So as many as you can have to see what you got, it's the better that your team can be. So move one of these other pieces for a bullpen arm. Sure, why not? Bring in Harrison Bader again.
Hey, but here's the thing. Real quick with Bader, and we talked about this previously. The conversation, if there was ever going to be a conversation, is a conversation that included no Remuto. We got Remuto back, so there's not going to be no Bader. That's basically how I view the Bader thing. The second part, we have to go any deeper into it, is the Crawford aspect of it. Crawford's going to be the guy in center field. And I don't want to go too crazy on Crawford, but the points on Crawford is they're going to let him grow defensively. That's what they're looking for first. Can he learn center field and be an absolute Gold Glove style player there? And 2, can he get his balls, those ground balls? Can he get them down the line so he can maybe get more singles there? They're saying he's unique in those regards. So Bader to me is out. Lastly, to your point with Weston Wilson. Mm-hmm. This team's deeper because Weston Wilson's out, and I brought this up before, we're adding to the bullpen through the Rule 5 draft with McCambley, and now my guy Shogart. Mm-hmm. This guy, and there's Zach Pop, and we're going to see these guys who make the team, but I'm banking on Shugart. The R blends trip me up, but he's a guy we have control with, and these bullpen arms, we're going to see 2, 3, 4 more names that are new to us being added.
So
that's honestly, that's 3 reasons why you won't see Bader. The Remuto, the Crawford, and the bullpen arms which you want, which we already have.
All right, so
Chris, open that.
I'm hearing
the dishwasher.
What I'm hearing is that you're given reasons basically why you don't think it's going to happen in the real world, right? So I'm with you on that. So I guess to turn it around on you, love your points on the bullpen depth, both of you, because you're 100% right. The thing I feel the best about going into this year is that innings, call it 6 through 9, I feel really good about those, right? I love that. Now, to your point about the realistic world with JT in the picture now, put that to the side for a second for me. Now, let me just ask you, because you made the point about Crawford, and I see a lot of people making this point. Well, it might hamper his development at center field. Do you really care about whether he develops at center or left in his first year? You do. Okay, well, hold on. Because wouldn't you rather the Phillies just be better this year and have, if Crawford's got to play left or Bader's got to play center, and then we let the platoon guys platoon?
No.
What's your big issue with it? Why are you so worried about that?
Like your main thing is you're assuming let the Phillies be better this year, right? Which they wouldn't be better this year.
How would they not be better with Bader when Bader's probably your best outfielder going in? I mean,
if you put Bader, right? Not even if you put Crawford in left field. If you put Bader in left field for some presumptuous reason, right? And some hypothetical, there's a chance that his season totals aren't as strong as Marsh, including right-handers and lefties. You
still have Marsh.
But now everything's getting clogged up, and we've seen you got to let players play. And now you're moving Crawford to a position where you're not really wanting him to be there long term. They waited to bring him up for these reasons.
There's a lot of people that think he's more suited at that position anyway.
And then
I get what you're saying. I'm just not so. I don't know why you're hell bent on that aspect, I guess.
No, I'm not hell bent, but if we're playing, we have extra cheese and we just want to bring this guy in.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like,
I don't think it's a great use of money at this point. I don't, and I know a lot of people think he was electrifying, that he brought the juice, and I agree. I was all with it, but recently, I'm buying shares in Crawford. I really am, and if Crawford can unlock center field, it's one of the biggest advantages is in the NL, right? If we have a young guy as a rookie who can contend for rookie of the year, it's a huge advantage. And let's find that out. And if we don't find it out, you make the trade. Like you said before, Bones, you can make a trade and get a Bader type.
What if Bader can lock down center field as a gold glove center fielder and Crawford locks down in left field?
And then you have Marsh and right or Garcia and right, who are both really good corner outfielders. Our outfield would be great defensively.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Well, yeah, and I hear you there. And listen, the other thing is Bader's the best outfielder out there, right? Like, so you're bringing in the best outfielder out there. I hear you. I don't think it's a. If this was a fantasy land conversation, I'd be giving you a little bit more. I get where you're coming from. I don't think it's quite fantasy land. I think the Phillies, without a shadow of a doubt, if they can find the right deal, would bring him in. I do think that.
So what's the number? Because it's not like I'm anti bringing Bader in then, right? If there is a number, but the number is going to be, he was seeking that 3 years like Remuto. We were comparing his numbers to the Remuto numbers, if to be frank, maybe just a smidge less. But we're expecting him to get 2 years, 26 to, 30 would be a lot. But he wants 3 years.
Well, so let's start here. Let's
3 years, $40 million.
Well, no. Well, hold on here. So let's start here with where Garcia is. So we just put Garcia in for 1 year, 10. Garcia's coming off a horrible year, right?
Brutal year.
Bader's coming off his best year. And by the way, he played his best ball with us, which he gets bonus points for.
And here's the other thing with Bader.
Yeah.
We let him come in and just play center field, Yeah. He had a sure role.
Well, not at first. Remember?
Okay.
They slow played that, remember? They slow played it, yeah.
Because the team they were playing with on and off.
Yes, which was dumb. Yeah, in hindsight, absolutely. I guess what I was going to say is, it's going to be north of 10. So is the question if would you do 2 years, $28 million for him, to 14 a year? I mean, you just gave JT 15 for 3. So would that scare you away? Two for 28?
No, I think it's an asset that as soon as you acquire it, you're looking to move it.
Expand on that.
You're going to bring him in, and then there's going to be situations, right? Because when you look at the back of Harrison Bader's baseball card, it's inconsistent. And it's inconsistent for a lot of reasons. So once it starts getting inconsistent, you now might be starting Harrison Bader too much in center field and delaying the development of Crawford, who's a crucial piece in this team's future. And then once you start bottlenecking with friggin' your boy Bader eating up center field time, like we saw happen with Castellanos the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And then you got Marsh. Now they're on the same kind of deal. Who's more valuable now if they end up looking similar at the end of the year offensively?
Bones, 2 years, 28. What do you say?
Sign me up.
Okay, so you're in on that. All right. I think that would be that seems realistic, right, guys? Like he's not getting much more than JT's getting, right? Like I can't imagine.
I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's too far off.
Yeah, he wants the 3 years though.
No, he wants 3 years. No,
he knows if
absolutely.
not, he's going to get traded again, which is my point.
Right.
The reason no one wants to give him 3 years
that would put them slightly over between Romuto and him what they were giving Bichette.
And he's expensive. He's expensive now, and he hampers doing things at the deadline if you don't like what we look like. That's kind of,
a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, you're kind of going all in on your opening day roster. From the standpoint of, well, you could trade Marsh and or get rid of Garcia, though, right? So, you're not all kind of like a Kepler type situation, right?
Yeah, exactly so. So.
But no, I hear you there.
The interesting
there. I'm sorry.
Just my thing would be if we put Crawford in left, I think it would ease the transition for him to come up and focus. Like, because if he thinks he could play center field, he should be able to play left field, right?
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed.
So if he's playing left field with Bader, a Gold Glover in center, this opens him up to swing the bat, less pressure, to work on things and just come up, be able to swing the bat a little bit.
Yeah, but
and then just go from there.
But you saw, even with Rojas, when Rojas first came up, he had a high ERA. I think he had one of the highest ERAs ever for a Phillies rookie. It was a little bit over 1, right? And that was simply based off.
Who are you talking about right now?
Rojas.
ERA. Is it?
ERA.
Not ERA. His WAR. My apologies. His WAR. When Rojas came up, he finished the year with a WAR slightly above 1, which is either the top ERA ever for a rookie outfielder or the second top ever for a Phillies outfielder. With that being said, it got to that position because of his defense and defense only. You have to move Crawford to center field. You have to see if he's Gold Glove caliber there, and then if he is, you can let him develop as a hitter. You don't want to be hampering his mind with, okay, you play left field sometimes, you play center field sometimes, and also we need you hitting the balls on the line. Right. You know, you put him in center, you say, all right, the hitting's going to come, relax hitting, get center field down and get it down great. We pick one thing and be great at it. And that's going to be Crawford defensively in center field. We're going to watch that develop the first 3 months.
All right.
And then we'll worry about hitting after that.
So let's see what the chat.
Move this kid.
Let's see what the chat thinks. Both of you guys, I thought, really presented that well. Slim, I hope you're right about Crawford. Jerry in the chat. Shout out, Jerry. But I think putting him in center field, the Phillies will have another Rojas on their hands, make him earn the center field position.
He has.
Yeah.
He has. He played the entire time down the minor leagues. The entire time. And they told him, you're not coming up until it's yours. And he showed that it's his. He batted above 300 last year. So to say Rojas on our hands is, I think, a little, a little doomer. His floor is higher than Rojas, and Rojas showed almost no ceiling. At Rojas, we just wanted to see some IQ at the plate, and we rarely got that. We're not going to see that with Crawford. He's going to be putting the ball in play. He's going to be putting bunts down. He's going to be high IQ. I'm excited for this kid. So, yeah, you can't do me on him, comparing him to Rojas offensively.
So let's kind of end on this question before we transition to talking some pitchers. And if there's anything else, chat, if you have any questions. By the way, chat, if you are new here, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Also, if you want to jump over to the redcornerpod.com, theredcornerpod.com. Slim, why don't you give me one? Because I like the way you say that.
Yo, 2 times. Theredcornerpod.com. Theredcornerpod.com. Bones, can you give me 2?
Utah, give me 2. Theredcornerpod.com. Theredcornerpod.com.
I love it. All right, so guys, I'm sure if you ever needed a winter hat, now is the time. Jump on over to theredcornerpod.com, get those winter hats. 10% off since we sent you there. So again, please take advantage of that. But guys, this is the question I was going to ask to transition here. And I'm going to say it to you, Slim, since you were more resistant. Would you feel better about the Phillies if Harrison Bader was on the team going into opening day? Would you feel better?
No. I wouldn't. Because
Okay.
I think Bader's not the piece. I think he hampers us at the deadline. I think that the unlocking of the Phillies is to see what these young guys have, to see what Crawford has, to see what Miller has. We're talking about Miller in the outfield sometimes. And now we're bringing in Bader again, who, I mean, again, he's a guy as soon as we get, we're going to potentially want to get off him if things aren't going to Maximus Planus.
Right. And to be honest,
which he's never shown.
We've never shown, and we are buying high, which you never love to be, and the executives hate that, right? Like they hate when they're in a position where they're buying high. So that's going against us for sure. Let's spend a little bit of time on Eugenio Suarez. I know in the beginning of the offseason, he was a guy that before we got Garcia, before we kind of did some other things, he was someone that I had circled thinking, maybe we trade Bohm for some bullpen, which obviously now we have bullpen. But where are we at on Eugenio Suarez, Bones? Do you think it makes any sense at this point?
On like a 1-year deal.
Okay. Yeah, like
because he is older and he's going to command more money. I don't want to give too many years out, and we're giving this guy $63 million, $64 million, over 2 years.
Right.
But I would take a flyer on it for a 1-year deal. Guy's got 40 homer, 50 homer pop, especially here.
So you're saying the 1-year deal would have to be something where he signs for, he's going to be over $10 million or whatever. Bones getting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be close to 30.
Right.
If it's a 1-year deal, it's probably mid-20s.
You now have to move Bohm.
That's fine. He's on a 1-year deal. Someone will want him.
Which, honestly, to me, makes no sense. You're getting rid of a defensive guy, and you're getting rid of a good offensive approach, a guy who's been in the playoffs, seeing things, growing with this team, and then you're paying 3 times the price. So even at a 1-year deal, I have to veto it for Suarez.
Yeah, and then the two things that are scaring me away now are what you just said, Slim, the fact that there's now another domino that's got to fall with the Bohm trade, right? So that becomes messy. And then also the fact that we have Garcia, right? So now we have two guys that are just swinging out their shoes and striking out. So it could go one of two ways. If both of them have an off year where they're just striking out and not, and either striking out or hitting a homer, then we're back where we started with the bad approach. So that scares me a little bit.
Right. Yeah. But again, he's one of these guys, if he's hot, it's all glory.
Right.
What stinks is the alternative. The fantasy world, you move Bohm to first base and you move Harper back to the outfield, and then you start playing MLB The Show, which can't happen. But that's what I would love. If that was a scenario in play, I would be full send. But that scenario isn't in play.
Right. All right. So finally, in chat, if you have any questions, now's the time, please. I would say the last talking point we're hearing right now with the Phils is starting pitching depth, right? I'm really bullish and high on this. I hope it happens. Obviously, some of the names out there we've talked about in the past, Zach Gallen, Framber Valdez, Chris Bassett, Justin Verlander, and then Giolitti. Any of those names kind of pique your interest? Where are we at, boys? Slim, you start out from this one.
No, I'm still in the same position as last week. I'm fine with hopefully Walker stealing starts until Painter, and I'm hoping Painter's ready. to go in
Yeah.
the beginning of the year. So if that's the case, we got Wheeler very, very soon.
Mhm.
He'll be here in June. So we'll have Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola coming back. I think having a good year. He showed the stuff last year. I think he's going to bring his A game. Walker and Painter.
Right.
And I'm fine with all that. The guy I like, the one you're not mentioning, is Bueller, which he's going to be available if we need him during the year, which is a beautiful thing. You know, he's like a mercenary type, a David Robertson, but for starting pitching.
Yeah, good comp.
Giolito had an awesome year last year for Boston.
Yeah.
And if he can repeat that, another guy, 1-year deal. I mean, take these Flyers. If the money's right, take the Flyers. I don't think Valdez is going to take a 1-year deal. I would love him,
No.
but he's not going to take a 1-year deal. But I could see Giolito taking a 1-year deal because he's coming off some injuries in years prior, not this past year, but there's that history. So, but he was good before that.
Valdez is the guy you can make an exception for.
So you're saying you'd make an exception for, and I'll go back to your point on Giolito. So you're saying make an exception, meaning you'd go
if you're gonna have a 1 year over the top deal, instead of a dude like Suarez, you can give it to a guy like Valdez, Framber. I think that makes a lot more sense.
Okay, so you're in on Valdez regardless of term. Like if it's a 1 year, if it's a 3 year, you're in on him. Because I think he's only 32,
for sure, absolutely
32, 33.
I would be in on him. I would be a little upset with the Ranger, but he gets more innings than him. Yada yada yada. Yeah, so I would be in.
Yeah, and then Giolito. Going back to Giolito, Bones, to your point. So Johnny Baseball, friend of the show, who's obviously super duper knowledgeable about baseball and deep into the Red Sox, he has inside look on him. He reached out to me as well, and he said that Giolito would be a good fit for us. So that's where. And by the way, let's give a shout out to Frozen Rope, right? Frozen Rope podcast. They're starting back up, so shout out to them. Johnny Baseball is a great guy, great baseball guy, and great guy in general. So give him some love on his baseball pod.
You're from the area. He does some training for like kids, high school kids.
Okay.
So.
Yes, and if you have a child, sorry, I didn't hear you at first. If you have a child who is a baseball player, this guy is one of the best baseball coaches in the city by far. So,
yes, he's helped guiding me.
Amen to that. What else, boys? What about Rhys Hoskins? So did he actually sign?
Well, let's talk about. You guys are talking about Bader, and he can play left field, and Crawford can play left field. Why is it with right field? And I think it's because of the hitting aspect. You want someone out there who can have a little bit more pop. But how is it with right field? We keep putting guys in there who are presumed starters with no contest. Garcia. So why can't Garcia play left and right? Why is him and guys like Castellanos always stuck in right? I understand why.
Because Garcia has a strong arm. That's why.
He's got cannon.
Yeah. So that profile is better for right field to throw to third.
All right, question answered. Let's say it.
What
got muscles like me?
Yeah, he does. They're very similar, physiques.
How many throwouts? I honestly, I must have forgotten watching Nicky Castellanos.
Yeah, no, we haven't had a guy with like a cannon out there in a while. I mean, Rojas has a really strong arm.
Yeah, Rojas.
Yeah,
Rojas never got a chance, but yeah. I need to get like a prisoner of war, but it's like Rojas.
It's funny. I was having a conversation with someone about Rojas, and they made a really nice point, and I hope I can remember who it was by the time that I finish this. But use Rojas as a great gauge for when we're watching Justin Crawford at bats, because we do not want him to look overmatched in the way that Rojas really always did, right? Like if we can gauge that, where like a month in and we're like, you know what, Crawford is batting 250, whatever it is, but he doesn't look overmatched, then it's a win. Because Rojas always did, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of him looking over match, but I'm going to push back just a little bit because I think the high priority now is getting because he's going from left field to center field, right? How much did he play in center field in the minors last year?
He played both. He played both.
Right, so he's going to center field in the major leagues full time. There's not a more important position.
He might. We don't know for sure.
He's going to be. He's going to be playing a lot of center field.
Give me your Valshi or whatever. What's your Valshi on that?
Preston Mattingly came out and said the number one priority is making sure this guy can play defense in center field.
Right.
You can't find that out unless he's playing defense in center field. And if he can lock that down, it's as valuable as almost as valuable as shortstop and catcher.
Give me your Valshi. Is that minus odds?
Minus odds for what? Him being a stud?
Yeah. No, starting center field. Day one.
He is minus 200.
Okay. I agree with that. I just wanted to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, it's probably lower. It's probably minus 300.
By the way, am I saying that right? Valshi, isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, it sounds about right. I don't know. I'm not sure.
You're looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it sounds foreign to me.
Isn't that like the poly markets thing?
Oh, yeah, it sounds French. So that'd be foreign.
Yeah, it sounds foreign.
Because you've been talking poly markets.
The Calshi.
I think it's called Calshi, right?
Calshi. I thought you were saying Valshi.
That's what I thought he was saying.
I thought both.
I thought you were saying something about that. I thought you were saying, this is why I don't like getting into our ignorance, but I thought you were saying something with value. I thought you were saying Valshi, and I wasn't picking it up.
Got it. Well, yeah, you guys are both pros with poker faces because both of you didn't know what I was saying and you acted like you did. So, what else?
I leave the bet and talk to you two guys. Valshi they don't play that on the Horse Channel, so I don't know it.
Exactly. No, I just saw it on Twitter because that's like the new. I think is it called Poly Market? Where you can bet on anything nowadays.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Slim was betting on snow totals in Philly.
Yes, he was. What else, boys? Close things down. I think we hit on everything.
Crawford.
We will be monitoring.
There is one more.
Go hit us.
And it goes back to the Bader stuff. Is the rise? We know Crawford, I think, is going to be on this Major League Baseball team. Unless, he's going to go out there. I think he's going to show that he deserves to be out there with the pros. The other name is Ada Miller. Because what if we get out there and Ada Miller is looking as good, if not better, than someone like a Crawford? Can Ada Miller make himself? Besides the injuries to Stott or a Bohm, how does Ada Miller get on this team? Because he's the guy right now. You saw Stephen Phillips talking about him on MLB Network. He's the buzzy guy.
Got Bones. Basically, so you're
Ada Miller playing center field?
What? Or no, just making the roster.
I don't think he's going to make the roster.
His value is higher now than ever. Yeah.
And I don't maybe later in the year, but I don't think he's coming up.
Yeah.
I think they're going to base it off like a Crawford thing. They can kind of hype him up a little bit, and then eventually he's not going to come up, and then next year he'll be here.
There's full-blown Alex Bregman comps now.
Yeah, I see
with
that.
Speed. With speed.
Steve Phillips, like you were saying.
So they're saying Alex Bregman's down there. You guys were just about to – Alex Bregman just got $40 million for what he used to do, basically.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think there's any chance that he breaks opening day because he wouldn't be a starter, and we want him getting ABs, right?
Right.
But yeah, man, if one injury, he's the guy that you're thinking of. I think Edmundo Sosa gets slept on the most, right? He's kind of our everyman, where you can kind of put him everywhere in the team.
His security. That's why he has job security for the most part. You could. If Miller is looking awesome again, come mid-season, we can see a big trade, including Bohm, including whomever. That's why you also don't want to get yourself tied up with guys you signed in the first year, like a Bader, a Suarez, a Valdez, a Gallen.
No doubt.
I don't think you would see a trade because if he comes up and he doesn't pan out, which is possible, like you see these guys where they come up and they don't have it the first time around.
Right.
They might need to see different things. And then if he does come up and he's hot, that second time around where teams are starting to see him more and they pick up his tendencies.
But we've
that'll
always
get sent back down.
The players with the Phillies, right? The big hit knock a lot of times is they don't develop hitters, right? Positional players. And when you say positional players, a lot of times I think we're talking about the hitting.
Oh yeah, that play.
Look at Stott. When they brought Stott up, it was all defense first. He was better than Didi. His offense was hot because of that first go around. So Bones, it could go either way. He might have a little bit of advantage because pitchers are trying to pick up and trying to figure out what to use to get him out because they don't know yet, right? So he might have a little bit of advantage there. But with that being said, the big advantage is his versatility with the defense. If they're saying he's a beast shortstop, that means he can probably play anywhere, at least for the time being. You see? So he should be able to play third base if needed, second base if needed. If you do a big trade, I could see a big trade happening with Bohm, clearing way for Miller at the deadline. It kind of makes sense.
That would be extremely exciting. All right, guys, let's close it down here. We survived the blizzard of 2026. Red Riders, thank you for the support as always. Thank you for all those questions that you submitted. Thank you for all the Philly neighborhood submissions. And if you are still here, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. We will be following the Phillies news all week. If we got to go live, we'll go live like we always do. Stay tuned. Go Phils, and we will see you soon.
And it's the